Well, this numerical reads, a man walks on a straight road from his home to a market 2.5 kilometers away with a speed of 5 kilometers per hour. Finding the market closed, he instantly turns and walks back home with a speed of 7.5 kilometers per hour. What is the magnitude of average velocity and average speed of the man over the time interval 0 to 30 minutes, 0 to 50 minutes, and 0 to 40 minutes? Okay, now when you look at this numerical, when you read this, you know that you have to calculate average velocity over a given time interval and average speed over a given time interval. So this numerical is a very important numerical to understand the concept of difference between average velocity and average speed. In other words, it will also give you or tell you the subtle difference that you have between displacement and distance traveled while calculating average speed. See, what are the things that you should note down? You should note down that the distance is given in kilometers, the speed is given as in kilometer per hour, whereas the time interval is given in minute. So instead of converting all this into the kind of unit that you have here, what we could do is we could, since you have the velocity or the speed in kilometer per hour, you can convert minute also into hours in order to simplify the numerical. Now let's start solving the numerical. To do so, I will first write down the formulas that we know for average velocity and average speed. So average velocity, I denote it by V average, is actually equal to the ratio of displacement to time taken, which is nothing but displacement can be written as delta x divided by delta t, or in other words, it is simply the difference between the final position to its initial position divided by the time interval at those intervals. Whereas average speed, which is also denoted by V average, is the ratio of the path length to the time taken to cover that path length. Or in other words, it can also be called as distance traveled by time. So it is simply x by t. So where x is the total distance traveled to total time taken to cover that distance. Now, what does the numerical say? Now, if I call this is where the man lives, this is his home, and let's say this is the market. So he covers a distance of 2.5 kilometers from market to home with a speed of 5 kilometers per hour, right? Similarly, he covers, seeing the market closed, he walks back the same distance but with a different speed, which is 7.5 kilometers per hour, right? Now you have to calculate the average speed and the average velocity over different intervals of time given. Now we do not have the time that he takes to cover this distance when he is traveling with a speed of 5 kilometers per hour. So let me calculate the time he takes to travel 2.5 kilometers if he is traveling at the speed of 5 kilometers per hour. So from time taken to travel from home to market. So How do you calculate that? We know that in general speed is equal to distance by time. So I need time. So this implies time is equal to distance by velocity. So what is the distance he travels from home to market? It is 2.5 kilometers with a speed of 5 kilometers per hour. So since this is 2.5 by 5 and since you have a decimal in the numerator, since it is a decimal after a single digit, I multiply the numerator and the denominator with a number that has got single zero, which is 10. So that doesn't change the value because 10 by 10 is nothing but 1 by 1. Now this will be 250 divided by 50. Since you have a decimal here, so you keep the decimal point after one digit. So that will be 25 by 50. So 25 one times and 25 two times. So that is nothing but half hour because this is in kilometer and this is in kilometer per hour. So in other words, T is equal to 0.5 hour. But the time intervals that we have been given are given in minutes, so I can even convert this into minutes. How do you convert hour into minutes? So 0.5, we know 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So this can be multiplied with 60. So it is 5 6 30. So you have another 0. Keep a decimal point after one digit, so that becomes 30 minutes. So it takes 30 minutes to travel from home to market. Now let's also find out how much time he takes to come back home from market with a speed of 7.5 kilometers per hour. Time taken to reach home from market. So we use the same formula. Speed is equal to distance by time. So time is equal to distance by speed. Just substitute the values that you have. So we know T is equal to, he has to cover the same distance, which is 2.5 kilometers, but he is traveling with a speed of 7.5 kilometers per hour. So both numerator and denominator have decimals after single digit. So you multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 10 by 10, which will not change the value. When you multiply, it will be 250 divided by 750. Keep the decimal point after one digit. So this is 25 one times, 25 three times, which is nothing but 1 by 3rd of an hour. So if I convert that into minutes, 1 by 3 hour, 1 hour is 60 minutes. So that will be 3 1 times, 3 20 times. So he takes 20 minutes to reach home from market. So this is a valuable data. Now we will use this to solve what is being asked in the numerical. Now let's get going, calculate the average speed and average velocity. So first, the time interval is 0 to 30 minutes. Now what is 0 to 30 minutes? 0 to 30 minutes is also nothing but 0 to, what is 1 minute? 1 minute is 1 by 60 hour. So this will be 1 by 2, which is nothing but 0 to half hour, or this can also be written as 0 to 0.5 hour, right? So let us calculate the average velocity. Average velocity is x2 minus x1 divided by t2 minus t1. x2 is the final position. So he is at a distance of 2.5 kilometers away from his home. So market is the final destination. So 2.5 because he takes 30 minutes to reach the market. So since he takes 30 minutes to reach the market, his final destination is 2.5 kilometers away from his home. Now if you take his home as the initial position, which is the origin, so that is 0 divided by the time interval. So we have to calculate it over a time interval of 0.5 hours. So I have to keep it in hours because this is in kilometer. So 0.5 minus time 0. So 0 to 30 minutes or 0.5 minus 0. So he takes 0.5 hour to reach 2.5 kilometers. Now since the numerator and the denominator have a decimal point after single digit, we multiply it by 10 by 10. So this will be again 250 divided by 50. So you keep the decimal point after single digit, and this is 5 ones are 5 times. So this is nothing but 5 kilometer per hour. Now if you want to keep that into meter per second, what you have to do is just multiply this by 5 by 18 to convert it into meter per second. So that is nothing but 25 by 18 meter per second. Right? You can even divide it and keep it in decimal form. Now let's find out the average speed. What is average speed? Average speed is the total distance traveled by time taken. So what is the total distance traveled from home to market? It is again 2.5 kilometers. What is the time he takes? 0.5 hours. So 0.5, it is same as 2.5 by 0.5. So that will also turn out to be 5 kilometer per hour or 25 by 18 meter per second. So in this case, you can note down the displacement and the distance traveled are both same. Okay, so this is a valuable result. Now let us do it for 0 to 50 minutes. Now what is 0 to 50 minutes? So 0 to 50 minutes, 50 into 1 minute is 1 by 60 hour. So this is nothing but 0 to 5 by 6 hour. Okay, so we can find this out, but we know he takes from home to market, he takes 30 minutes to travel. From market to home back, he takes 20 minutes to travel. So this is 2.5 kilometer per away. This is also 2.5 kilometer away from the market. So what will be the total displacement in this case? He has traveled 2.5 kilometer and he has traveled back 2.5 kilometer backward. So the displacement in this case becomes 0 because he has reached back his initial point. So in this case, the average velocity will be x2 minus x1 divided by t2 minus t1. So he reaches 2.5 kilometer and he walks back 2.5 kilometer divided by delta t. It is 0. So the average velocity in this case is 0. Hence since the displacement is 0, the average velocity also becomes 0. But what about average speed? So in order to calculate average speed, we know it is total distance by time. What's the total distance that he travels? He travels 2.5 kilometers forward, 2.5 kilometers backwards. So 2.5 plus 2.5 in this case will be 5 kilometers. So therefore divided by what is the time he takes? Time taken is 5 by 6 hours. Right? So this will be 5 divided by 1. If you do not have anything, you can write this as 5 by 1 into 6 divided by 5. Therefore, this will be 30 divided by 5, which is nothing but 6 kilometer per hour. So the average speed in this case will be 6 kilometer per hour. Right? Now we can do the same for 40 minutes. So 6 kilometer per hour, if you want that to be converted into meter per second, what do? You just multiply it by 5 by 18. So that will be 6 one time, 6 3 times, which is nothing but 5 by 3 meter per second if you want to keep it in meter per second. Now, we have to do the same for 0 to 40 minutes. You have to note one thing when you calculate it for 0 to 50 minutes. Since he traveled the same distance backward and forward and he came back to the initial point, his displacement was 0, hence average velocity was 0. Whereas average speed, the distance became doubled because he traveled equal distances. Here you add the distances, 2.5 plus 2.5 will become 5. And you see that it is 6 kilometer per hour. Now what is 0 to 40 minutes? 0 to 40 minutes can be written as 0 to 40 into 1 minute is 1 by 60 hour. So this is 2 2s and 2 3s. So this is nothing but 0 to 2 by 3 hour. But we know he takes 30 minutes to reach 2.5 kilometers, right? But we do not know what is the distance he travels for next 10 minutes because we have to calculate it for 40 minutes, right? So for next 10 minutes, distance traveled is, so to calculate the distance traveled, we know speed is equal to distance by time. In other words, distance we will replace, let's cross multiply, this will be velocity into time. So 30 minutes he reaches a market which is 2.5 kilometer away. He's walking back with a speed of how much? 7.5 kilometers. So the next 10 minutes he will be walking with a speed of 7.5 kilometers per hour into the 10 minute. How can you convert 10 minutes into hours? So just multiply it by 1 by 60. So this will be 7.5 into 1 by 6, right? Now, so you have 7.5 divided by 6. So what do? You have a decimal point. You, after one digit, multiply the numerator and denominator by 10 by 10. So this will become 750 divided by 60. So keep the decimal point here. There is no decimal point in the denominator. So therefore this will be 15 4 times, 15 5 times, which is nothing but x is equal to 5 by 4 kilometer, or let's divide this, find out how much this will be. 4 1s are, so you keep a point, you get 0. 4 2s are 8, so this will be 2. 4 5s are 20, so it is nothing but 1.25 kilometer. So in the next 10 minutes he covers, in next 10 minutes he covers a distance of 1.25 kilometers. Now this is a valuable result again. So we'll use this to calculate the average speed and hence the average velocity also. So 0 to 40 minutes, right? So 0 to 40 minutes or it is nothing but 0 to 40 into 1 by 60 hour, or it is 2 by 3 hour, right? So this can also be written as 0 to 2 by 3 hour average velocity. Average velocity is x2 minus x1 divided by t2 minus t1. So how much is x2? X2 is from home to market. It is 2.5 kilometers minus another 10 minutes. What is that? The total displacement will be 1.25 kilometers is what he has traveled, divided by 2 by 3 minus 0. Now let's subtract 2.5 minus 1.25. So that will be so you have 5, 4 minus 2, it is 2. So again 1.25. So this will be 1.25 divided by 2 by 3. 1.25 divided by 1, this can be written as such. So this is nothing but 1.25 divided by 1. So this goes to the numerator, that will be 3 by 2. Now just multiply. 3 into 5 is 15. So 1 carry, 3 2s are 6 plus 1 is 7. Keep a decimal point, 3 1s are 3. So it is 3.75 divided by 2. Now you can divide the same and see how much it is. So 3.75, 2 1s are 2, get 1, you keep the decimal point, you borrow 7, 2 8s are 16. So this will be 115. 2 7s are 14. You borrow a 0 from the decimal point. So 2 5s are 10. So that is the average velocity is 1.875 kilometer per hour. Now this can be multiplied by 5 by 80 to convert it into meter per second. What will be the average speed? The average speed is x by t. So the total distance traveled in this case, you do add them. So 2.5 plus 1.25 divided by 2 by 3. Now if you add them, this will be 3.75 divided by 1 whole divided by 2 by 3. So this is nothing but 3.75 by 1. This goes to the numerator. It becomes 3 by 2. Now if you multiply, this will be 3 5s are 15. 3 7s are 21 plus 1, it will be 22. Carry 2. 3 3s are 9 plus 2, it is 11. 11.25 divided by 2. Let's divide and see how much you get. So it is 2 5s are 10, and then you get 1. Keep the decimal point here, borrow 2. So it is 2 6s are 12, and then you borrow 5. 2 2s are 4, get 1. You borrow 0, then it becomes 2 5s are 10. So it is 0 0. So this will be 5.625 kilometer per hour. That is the average speed. So this is the best example, or this is the best numerical that you can take in order to understand the difference between displacement and distance traveled, and hence average velocity and average speed.